All right, here we go. Y'all know what it is already. Professor Lex Beats Hip Hop Classroom. Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us video. We're not even gonna delay too much, y'all. We're gonna get right into it. A lot of comments, a lot of people already breaking down the video. I saw that too. And of course, shout out to everybody in the comments. Of course, you know, we're gonna go through the comments and see what everybody provided as far as their thoughts on the video. A lot of dope perspectives on the symbolism in the video. So, you know, we're gonna go through that. Of course, I got my own. And without further ado, let's get started now. He starts off with the snippet of the new record. And why not? This is Professor Lex Beat, you know what I'm saying? We bar breakdown, lyrics explained. Why not just go through the lyrics right quick of the snippet? So he starts it, I am reincarnated. I'm a stargazer, life goes on, I need all my babies. Woke up looking for the broccoli, high key, keep a horn on me, that Kamasi, IP, ownership, the blueprint is by me. Mr. Get Off, I get off on my feet. So basically he's addressing taking away time, being re-inspired, right? Then why he takes away time, I'm a stargazer, life goes on, I need all my babies, of course, paying attention to his family. Woke up looking for the broccoli, looking for the money, that's what broccoli means. High key, meaning it's not a secret that he looking for the money. Keep a horn on me, that Kamasi. Now, Kamasi Washington is a well-known saxophone player in Los Angeles. He's played on a lot of Kendrick's records in the past, and I'm sure in the future. He's a well-known saxophone player in Los Angeles. Horn, of course, is a double for phone. IP ownership, the blueprint is by me. IP is intellectual property. Of course, IP address as well. So PG Lang, people think it's a record label. It's not. It's more of a creative works company where they create different arts and art forms or whatever. And then they pretty much, as far as I know, and I'm not 100% sure on this, but they work with different distributors, different companies, say Apple, Interscope, whoever, Amazon, right? The Pop Out concert. They pretty much lease the creative property to these companies. So it's a different business model. Then Mr. Get Off, I get off on my feet, meaning that basically Kendrick and his team, they stand on their feet. They don't bow down like a lot of artists do and sign bad deals and things like that, or sign into quote unquote slave contracts. And get off also, of course, means to dance. So he gets off on his feet. So let's break down these visuals. I'm gonna go through the comments first, and then I'll come back with the things that I found throughout the video as well. So first, let's start with Miss Nayera Isimbi 9657. Now, if I butchered your name, I apologize. But she says, you forgot to start where Tommy the Clown asked for the password to enter the classroom. It references gatekeeping the 5 elements of hip hop, and the 5 elements do appear in that classroom. So they're protected so they don't get culture vultured. And she says, by the owl dude. And in the classroom, you have a representation of the DJ when Tommy goes to start the music at the turntable, representation of dance, representation of graffiti artwork on the clothing, representation of spirituality when the Bible is being passed around, and a representation of emceeing. Basically, hip hop should not make it easy for people to come in and traffic our culture. Now, that's a theme throughout the video as well. So big shout out to Nayera Isimbi 9657 again. Sorry about the name. Now, my man Trip 777. Now, he posted this pretty early in when I did this video. It's pretty soon after the video dropped. I saw it on Twitter and things like that, and I saw other people talk about it. But he says K Dot doing push-ups. He did 17 and was about to do more, but they say Drake doesn't want anything over 17, so he stopped there. And he was also talking about the age thing with Drake at the same time. He was rapping about that part and Not Like Us when he was doing the push-ups. And the double entendre there is Kendrick also has 17 Grammys and is about to have 18 with this song. Also, he mentions that he was bee-walking on the hopscotch board, of course. Now, a lot of us call it sea-walking, and people were correcting me on that. It's bee-walking. It's blood-walking. It's not called crip-walking. But to be honest, those of us who are not from LA, we don't know the difference. Now, he also mentions that the dancers had the blue and red flags tied together, and the graffiti on their shirts are also a representation of the blue and the red coming together. Of course, Kendrick uniting the West. And a lot of people had this one, the storage containers representing the trafficking allegations against Drake, right? And against Baca, especially. Baca actually has real trafficking allegations. And then he also mentions the dates. Juneteenth, of course, was a pop-out concert, and this video dropping on Independence Day. I'll get more into that later. There's a little bit deeper meaning to that. But then this was a real good observation. It's also in black and white because it ain't about color, it's about culture. And that's when Drake, insinuating about Whitney's lineage there and her race and what she actually is. That's a very good observation. So shout out to Trip777. He had a lot of good observations there. That was dope. Now, when Kendrick and Mustard are in the Tams restaurant on that blue jacket Kendrick has on, the date August 8th, 2024 is on his jacket in the restaurant scene. Now, Brooklyn State of Mind dropped that one. I don't know how you guys saw that on that jacket. I couldn't read what that was on that jacket. And then Steve 0W7VB, he points out that the 10 numbers for the hopscotch part could symbolize the amount of songs Kendrick has in stock. Of course, we know that's pretty much what we surmised during the Lyrics Explained video when he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. Now I'm gonna add to that the reason he skipped down that is because that means he's probably going to release those tracks. So in a way, he's letting them know, he's walking down that hopscotch line to let Drake know, he's gonna release those tracks step by step. You know what I mean? Or layer by layer. Shout out to Pusha T. And of course, Say Less 1445 also points out that of course he's hopscotching because that's a children's game, and of course the liking younger people allegations against Drake. And now, Reflection Eternally, the shipping containers, think The Wire Season 2. Now, this led me down a rabbit hole of The Wire and Season 2 because their Season 2, Episode 2 is an episode about human trafficking. There were girls found in a shipping container they were suffocated inside the shipping container. Now, that was Season 2, Episode 2, and the episode was called Collateral Damage. Now, so to speak, this video and what's happening after the battle has been won is kind of collateral damage, right? So this is what Drake is going to have to put up with. Also, if you look at him hopscotching down to 10 records, it's collateral damage, right? Kendrick has more to release, so there's going to be more damage done. Unfortunately for Drake, that's what it is. So that Wire Season 2, that's kind of crazy how that all ties in together. And now we get into when they're at the shipping yard, which is in Long Beach. And I searched for the comment and I couldn't find it. YouTube didn't bring it back, but I'm sure I saw that in the comments where somebody commented, told me that was Long Beach. And now let's go to the comment by My Bath Bakery. It was shipping containers exporting for culture to me. And that makes sense with DeMar DeRozan also kneeling in front of the shipping containers. That's what I took from him, kneeling in front of the shipping containers, is our culture being exported to other places. And of course, during the song, Kendrick talks about D-Rose coming back home, right? And in a way, our culture coming back home as well is an underlying theme in this battle, as Drake is now seen by some people as a culture vulture. But then Reflection Eternally also states that Dot is in a suit with the black eyeglasses, and that's a similar style of Drake's business partner, Larry Jackson of Gamma. She says, draw your own conclusions with that. Now, Gamma, if you saw he had an interview with Joe Budden. Now, in my opinion, Gamma is a little bit problematic with their business model and the artists that they support, right? Sexy Red and a lot of other artists. I'll get into that probably in another video. But yes, the glasses especially kind of look like Larry Jackson, but I took it as they were dressed as detectives or they were there doing business. Either one, I couldn't really tell. You know what I'm saying? Dave Free was on the phone. So that can be taken a lot of different ways, but more about the shipping containers. Now, those shipping containers, those white shipping containers are used to transport items where they're trying to keep it dry. So they have ventilation systems. So I think that's why they picked those specifically for the video, because if you trafficking people, you would need shipping containers with ventilation systems in them. And of course, you see the dancers dancing inside the dancing inside the containers to show for sure that they're the containers with the ventilation systems in them. Now we go to the family living room scenes. And Barbie Doll IH2FY says that the American Gothic portrait, K. Dot is a genius. Now, the American Gothic portrait, I'm sure you've seen it before, as you see it on the screen now, this is a real classic husband and wife picture, right? About the good life of farming. That's what it's supposed to represent. And they had this kind of melancholy look on their face. And that's what Kendrick and Whitney kind of had when it first starts, and then it pans down to the kids though. And then of course there's a celebration in the living room. And again, true to myself, 214, further clarifies, she was doing the bee walk. The spinning is spelling out blood. Okay, and then Alabama Bomb All 9957 also says bee walking, right? Because of course I said sea walking, as most of us YouTubers and people who were talking about this, we see it as sea walking. A lot of people saying in the comments as well. If you're not from California, you don't really know the difference. Now, God First 7770 also pointed out that Whitney is wearing a wife beater. Now that's something that I've missed multiple times watching this video until I saw that comment, which is funny. It pokes fun at Drake accusing Kendrick of beating her. Like, that whole family scene really kind of just really put the cap on the battle and on any of Drake's allegations. Anything that Drake had that he could have probably leaned into, that family scene pretty much put the cap on it. Now we go to the owl scene. Now, of course, next to the family scene, this was probably the most damaging scene in the video. Okay, and Nicolette Campbell 4657, she put the cage, or she commented, the caged owl. It was so eerie and dark, like a horror movie. I think he's also saying he has Drake's mind caged. He's in control of him. He owns him mentally. Therefore, he controls Drake's whole being. Okay, she went deep there. And there, it does look like it's a deep scene there. And then Alicia Sims, 2846, also said, I read another post that it's about perspective. From the owl's perspective, there is no cage. However, everyone else's perspective, the cage is clearly visible, meaning Drake thinks he's free, but he's really caged. Now that one, those two together kind of do symbolize that whole scene. And then this last comment, SNG 1285, the owl was bowing down to Kendrick when he walked away. And it does seem like they were doing something, of course, off camera to make the owl kind of crouch down as though he was, you know what I'm saying? Not sort of, you could say bowing down, but you could also say he was kind of watching Kendrick. Like Kendrick probably had something that was scaring the owl a little bit in front of him that we couldn't see, to make the owl have that sort of low down skittish posture. But yeah, all of that symbolism, I can definitely see that being intentional. So again, shout out to the comments. If I missed any comments, I'm sorry. There was a lot of comments. Some of the things I had already mentioned in the videos. Some of the things had been mentioned by 1,000 people already on YouTube and such. So, and on Twitter. But here's what I came away with. Let me start with the easy stuff first, or the simple things first. I think what nobody's mentioning is the fact that Kendrick going to school, right? Going to the hip hop school, doing the hopscotch. He was doing a lot of kid things, and Drake kept taking shots at his height. All right. So he was doing a lot of small person things, so to speak, right? He was doing a lot of kid things. Of course, the kid things also referencing Drake's alleged affinity for the attention of young females. A lot of the dancing and the hopscotch in particular, Kendrick was doing, Drake has the line in Push-Ups, how you big stepping with some size 7 millions on, right? So Kendrick is taking small steps in doing the hopscotch as he travels down the 10 records that he is using to destroy Drake's career. So I guess, he doesn't have to big step. He's giving Drake the small hopscotch steps that he would like because he likes young ladies, allegedly. Now, this one I saw on Twitter, but I just want to mention it. The part where he's doing the push-ups and his split screen, and he's doing the L dance where that was a big thing on social media where the girls do the L dance to the G-Way song, What's Up G-Way? And there's a video of Drake, as you see here, with when he goes through the line, hide your little sister from him. I don't know if that is somebody's actual little sister, but the young lady there, Drake is doing the dance with one of his younger fans. And yeah, that's just an ode to that line and this video, which shows that Kendrick, they're watching Drake a lot. They knew a lot about him and they do their research, okay? And of course, Kendrick is in that isolation room, which kind of mimics a jail cell or just the little apartment that Drake said that he was stuck in and going through it in and having to do lyrical gymnastics, isolated, tucked away in that Brooklyn apartment that Drake mentioned. So a lot of this video was also hitting back at what Drake said throughout his diss records. Now, the significance of this scene with TDE standing in front of the Nickerson Gardens projects in Watts, California. There's an interview you can go look at, and the link is in the description, and I'll put it right, it's at the top of the screen right there, where the producer Terrence Martin, who's a producer for a lot of Kendrick's projects, The Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City, etc., he talks about going to Nickerson Gardens, and this is where TDE pretty much had their first studio and where they were recording their first songs. They were pretty much forming everything. So this is where they all pretty much developed in this area, right? They had a small studio in Nickerson Gardens. Terrence Martin talks about going there, meeting them for the first time and the whole situation. It's a real good interview. I think it's called Black Radio Backstage, where Robert Glasper is interviewing Terrence Martin. You should check it out. But that's the significance of this image and them being in this location. Okay, of course, Kendrick referencing the strength he has in his team versus the backstabbing, like he addressed in 616 in LA, that Drake has going on in his team. Again, with the theme, not like us. Okay, and I want to say a little bit about the tightrope. And now I'm not 100% sure about when the young lady is tightroping and then she starts C walking, B walking across the tightrope. Now, of course, the sky matches the Nothing Was the Same album cover, but I think that the balancing act in general, right? Because she's trying to gain her balance going across the sky. And if you remember, the Nothing Was the Same album cover is Drake as a little kid and then him as a grown man. And I think that could represent him trying to balance between being childlike and being a grown man, right? If you go through the allegations of liking the teenage girls, if you go through his career in general and how it hasn't really grown in a lot of people's opinions in subject matter to be more mature subject matters in his lyrics, in his songs. And I think that's probably what that could represent, and what they were getting at there is it's a balancing act between being a child and being an adult, right? And growing up, so to speak. So that could be what that means. Not sure. That's what I took from it. But let's continue. Of course, them going to Tams mimic Drake going to New Ho King in the Family Matters video. Mustard, even though he said he wasn't wearing the hat intentionally, he was wearing a Toronto Blue Jays hat. Mustard, come on, bro. He was wearing that hat on purpose. Now, the Ferrari that Kendrick and DJ Mustard were riding around in is a SF90 Stradale. I guess that's how you pronounce that. That's a dual clutch hybrid car, right? So it's literally a mixed black car. So of course that's a shot at Drake's ethnicity, so to speak, or his race, lineage, however you want to look at that. And of course the car is foreign. So there you go. Now, of course, during the initial reaction, I mentioned that the Boogeyman scene was from the Toosie slide. I see a lot of people saying Dark Lane demo tapes. I'm going to show this image right here from the Toosie slide video. This is what he was mimicking, right? Of course, the scene is Family Matters from the Family Matters video, the second part of the Family Matters video. But the outfit that the guy is wearing when he's creeping up on Kendrick is from the Toosie slide video. And if you watch on this channel right here, where we break down the imagery and the symbolism in the Toosie slide video, he was taking direct shots at Kendrick, and there was a lot of real cryptic stuff Drake was doing in that video. Okay, that of course got Kendrick's attention. So this video with a lot of cryptic things in it is a response to that video. It's not just the Dark Lane demo tapes album cover art, right? It's specifically the Toosie slide video. So check that video out on this channel. It'll be at the end of the channel as well, and link in the description below. Now, one very important part that I haven't seen anybody really talk about yet is the fact that, okay, that Compton, the building is the courthouse and the Compton City Hall and all that is around there. But the actual structure, that white structure that's kind of in the shape of like a mountain or a pyramid, is a monument dedicated to Martin Luther King Jr., right? And when everybody was celebrating the different scenes in which they were chanting the song, they were singing the song back, all of that, especially the scene at the end, you see everybody gathering in the monument for Dr. King, right? So you kind of see an expression of unity, right? And freedom in front of a courthouse within that monument for Dr. King. Of course, you know the history, or you should know the history of our civil rights movement. So let's continue. Now, also another gesture that was made was the dancers. When he was going through the colonizer verse about Atlanta, you could see the dancers mimicking a lot of movements that went along with the lyrics. Now, they did this throughout the video, but this part here, when he was ending the verse and they were kind of lined up going out of the classroom, you saw this type of, like they were stepping out with these big steps. You saw this kind of dancing during like a lot of blackface performances and cartoons from the early 1900s, 1920s, 30s, etc., all the way to the 50s. We're talking about the blackface performances. In this video here, you can see how they kind of mimic this kind of dancing here. Now we're going to get a little bit into the numerology and a little bit into why things were released on certain dates, right? So the Pop Out Tour was a California celebration. It was a regional celebration, right? Juneteenth is a regional holiday, right? It really has to do with just the slaves who were in Texas who didn't know that they were free yet. They hadn't been told that they were free, right? So you have that regional celebration that's specific to a certain area on that date. Then you have the national celebration with the release of the video, which everybody's been waiting for across the nation and across the world pretty much, on American Independence Day, right? Where everybody across the nation celebrates their freedom from oppression, so to speak, right? So now let's get into the numbers. Okay, now it starts with this still right here. This is right before the girl. This is the girl who passes Kendrick the Bible, right? If you stop it right here, she has a couple tattoos on her arm. Okay, first, the girls don't cry. Let me get that out the way first. Okay, it says girls don't cry. Obviously, that is a mantra for women who are being abused and can't speak out about it, right? So there's that, but then above that, she has the 444. Now, of course, if you know the Jay-Z album 444, that is the angel number for family. The number 4 represents family. Both of these events took place, the Pop Out and the release of this video, during Cancer season. Cancer is the zodiac sign for family, nurturing and parenting, right? And it's also the 4th zodiac sign, so that's where the 4s come from, meaning family, right? 444. Now, the runtime of the video is 5 minutes and 55 seconds. Okay, so that's 555. Now, 5 represents spiritual connection. It also represents personal growth, balance, and personal transformation. All right, if you listen to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, that is the theme throughout that album, right? And now we get into going back to the Wire reference and the human trafficking reference. Again, that was episode 2 of season 2. So again, that's the number 22, as I stated earlier. And I know a lot of people aren't into that. You know, it's a little deep, right? But it's there. So I'm gonna talk about it. So that is pretty much it. That's all I have for the video. Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us. As always, you know what to do. Hit that like button for me. Thank you very much for hitting that like button. Hit that subscribe button for me if you're not subscribed. It's the red one. Yep, thank you very much. Hit the notification bell so you know when we dropping new videos. All right, that little bell to wipe. Yep, that's it right there. And share the video one time for the culture. Okay, I know I covered some things that a lot of people did not cover. Shout out to the comments. Of course, the comments uncovered things that people did not catch in the video. Love y'all for that. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for watching Professor Lex Beats Hip Hop Class Bar Breakdown, Lyrics Explained, etc. We know Kendrick had a lot of deep messages in this video. There's also a lot of deep messages in the Meet the Grams lyrics that nobody has uncovered. Check out that Lyrics Explained video. Also check out the breakdown of Lupe Fiasco's mumble rap off of the Samurai album. Click either one of these videos to continue watching so you know those deep meanings of that hip hop. Thank you for watching. Peace.